in the building.
Jingle bell.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And today's video is just a short video on me creating a kitchen island. With the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving, we decided that we needed more kitchen counter space, especially for just recording and really just to put our food. We only had wall counters, and it just wasn't enough space for us to both be in the kitchen or to really store our food while we were cooking. Just felt cramped. So Jess asked me to try to create a kitchen island, and I think it turned out great. So let's get into it. So this is what I started out with, just a stack of boards. I actually went to Lowe's and got it all cut, and I should have checked before I left Lowe's. The boards I'm going to use for the top of the island, one of them actually was bowed. So it's like bowed down the middle, so it has a little bend in it, and I didn't notice it until I started constructing, and I actually used that bowed piece. So it still came out great, but definitely if you're going to get wood cut from Lowe's, check it and make sure you're not getting any kind of asymmetrical wood, which I didn't do. And the reason I got it cut at Lowe's was I don't have a cutter here, and I would have bought a cutter, but my kid's bad. I feel like something's going to go wrong, or I don't know. Really, and then I'm not really good at cutting either. I've tried cutting before in our old house, and it just didn't work out the way I wanted it to. Lowe's is on like 50 cents a cut, so you can't beat that. And some Lowe's even cut for free. So this is what I started out with. It's like 9 boards that I'm going to construct an island from. Yeah, just to explain the stains on my shirt beforehand. I saw some oil on the driveway before I started this, and I checked it out. So I'm like, my shirt's crazy dirty, and there's no haircut thing going on, no shave November. It's just a really bad looking day for me to be recording, but whatever. This is me. This is how I look when I'm doing little home projects. So take it or leave it. Okay, so what I did first was I built the frame for the island, which just consisted of 6 boards, I think. Yeah, 6 boards, 2 really long ones for the side. They were 58 inches long, just under 5 feet, and that means they were 2 inches shorter than the face boards. So it made like that overhang effect a lot of kitchen islands have. And you guys will see here, once I finish, once it looks like what I meant by that. So if you're going to create this, on your sideboards for your skirt, you want to have them just a little bit shorter for that overhang effect, which really looks more, modern in a sense, I guess. So I used the 4 boards for the outer edge. Like I said, 2 long and then 2 shorter ones. And then I put support beams in the middle of it too. The do-it-yourself video I was watching did that, and I decided that was the best option, just to put those 2 support boards in the middle. So I'll show you how the frame looked here in a second, once it was finished. Okay, so after the frame was put together, I went ahead and started putting on the top boards, the face boards, that were going to be the countertop. And like I said, so I had 2 10-foot boards. I got them cut into 5-foot halves. But one of the 10-foot boards was bowed, and that bend, you'll see as I put that last board on the left-hand side, you'll see it's kind of bent on the ends, and so as I'm screwing it in, it doesn't quite level out with the other 2 boards. So, sucks, but I didn't feel like going back and going to Lowe's to get another board, and it's really only about maybe a quarter of an inch off level, so that's how I have to work with it. I decided to work with it. I ended up moving the project into the hallway to put the legs on because it was going to be too wide, or just too hard to get outside the door once the legs are put on, and I only had Jess to help me, which, she's a strong, independent woman, but it was going to be a struggle getting out of this room with just her, because it actually turned out to be a little bit heavy with the legs on. So I was working on it in my office originally, and that's part of the reason why the floor needs vacuuming, and the floorboards need cleaning. Jess keeps telling me to clean up down here, but I promise next time you guys see that office room, it'll be clean. So yes, I'm putting the legs on now. So I ended up using 4 2x4 boards in the do-it-yourself. They recommended using 4x4 that I saw, but Lowe's didn't cut 4x4, and like I said, I don't have a cutter, so I went with what I could do, 2x4, which I'm glad I did. They were a lot lighter than the 4x4s. So I put them on and put them in the corner, and I put 6 screws in each to hold it up. It's kind of where if you guys are going to do something like this, you got to make sure your legs are secured the best. Those will deteriorate more over time just from you scooting it around and, being brushed against the leg. Those screws in the legs will deteriorate way before the frame or the skirt deteriorates. So make sure you guys are putting, if you're going to do something like this, always secure your legs more than your face or your skirt. Okay, and then the last thing I had to do was just add the bracers for the legs. I saw some projects that didn't have bracers for the legs, and that you run into an issue where your legs, kick in towards themselves. Like I said, so once it's getting bumped, after if you're gonna keep it for a while, and it's been supporting weight and getting bumped in the kitchen so many times or wherever you have it so many times, the legs will start to curve in towards each other if you don't have a bracer or a way to keep the legs stabilized. And that's why these boards here are important between those two legs on both sides. So I recommend that you guys do this. You don't have to, it'll stand without it, but for longevity, put bracers on it. Yeah, so like a second ago you saw my 2-year-old Casey running up and grabbing them and actually able to wobble the legs a little bit. Like it wasn't much, but that wobble is going to be completely diminished once these bracers are put on. And you see my gorgeous, oldest daughter, Kalia, come help me out. Shout out to Kalia for putting up with me, because I'm sure I was yelling at her about something right before this. And she's just like, whatever, I'm going to help you out anyway. So, shout out to Kalia. Yeah, so that's it. Took me about an hour to put it all together. As far as staining and polyurethane, that probably took another half day because you got to, let it rest between each coat of stain and polyurethane. So we decided to go with a really light color for the bottom, just a really light tan color for the bottom, and then a really mahogany. I don't know the freaking. It's not mahogany. It may not be mahogany. A really dark brownish color for the top. And then I put on 3 coats of polyurethane to give it that really slick, protected feeling. Yeah, so this is how it turns out. I hope you guys enjoyed that video for some reason. And if you guys have any questions about how it was built or, where to do it yourself, I found is that, just comment. I'll answer your questions. Alright, guys. Bye.